I have to tell you all about passkeys. So, I've been a password user for a long time. They actually came out in the 1960s at MIT, and passwords are what's referred to as a shared secret system. And it's hard to imagine how revolutionary that was in the 60s. And so, this predated the internet, and I want to tell you a lot of the details and the practical matters of whether you should be really jumping full speed ahead into passkeys or if what you're doing is good enough. So there's a really important thing. You can even have synchronized passkeys, and so that way some examples of this, like Apple has their system, Google has their system, even certain browsers like Brave will have a syncable passkey that you'll be able to use at different places. And so the hard thing to wrap your mind around there with all your different devices is that if someone does manage to break into your Google account, for instance, and gets control of that, then they become one of those shared devices, and they're able to use all your passkeys and get in all your information. Now, so if you look at it, and you would think, I don't want Google to have my the sensitive passkey themselves to be able to get into my other accounts. And the thing is, with those major players, there's end-to-end encryption, and so it's like they have the lock side where you have the key side. And this key, a byte is about one character. So a password has about 8 characters to 18 characters, something like that. But passkeys, the key side that you're going to have is over 100 bytes. So it's this big string of characters, more or less. And you don't ever have to see that. It's just managed by the passkey things. Some examples of what your interface to a passkey can be a PIN number. It can be the little thingy that you draw on your phone. It can be a physical device. The big brand that everyone is using is called YubiKey. That's Y-U-B-I key. And it involves you having it plugged into your computer, and then you pressing a button on it, and then confirming something on the computer and pressing the button again. So some might argue that the synchronized passkeys shouldn't be used on secure accounts like your financial stuff, your very vulnerable social media stuff that could ruin your reputation. But I don't know, I do feel like if you're able to really lock down and have multiple systems, two-factor authentication and so forth, the convenience of a synchronized passkey is very nice. Now, to be Fort Knox, to be super secure, you should not use a synchronized passkey. It needs to be an individual device passkey. Alright, so one of the things that triggered this video is that Windows is starting to, you're going to be hearing a lot more from them about trying to get rid of everyone's password. Windows, Microsoft, I should have said Microsoft. But Windows, yeah, I don't know, I feel like for a while they'll still give you the option to do whatever you want on your account. But Microsoft, and I guess you could say that Microsoft has been progressively, and trust me, I've been there every step of the way fighting it tooth and nail, and a lot of people, tech experts, agree you should still try to use a local Microsoft account. But for users that don't know a whole lot about it, even if you set them up with a computer to use a local Microsoft account, Windows and Microsoft is going to trick them into using an online account. And there's a whole cacophony of things that come with that. But so some of the main benefits of passkeys that you should really know is that hackers are getting really good. I think if they use ChatGPT to proofread their messages and stuff, they'd be quite excellent. I don't know, they haven't figured that one out yet, so it's always suspicious when you hear one. Social engineering is kind of tricking the end user of a computer into that you're the Microsoft security team or whatever. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is real legit. I need to give them the code that they just sent me, the two-factor authentication code. You just lost all your funds. I'm sorry. That's one of the most popular attacks right now, by the way. You'll get a panic call from a Microsoft security team or a customer service agency. Someone's trying to compromise your account, but really it's a Confederate. So the Confederate is in on it, and they're wanting this two-factor authentication, which they had requested for themselves, not you. And with that, they're going to be able to access your account and transfer your funds. It's getting scary out there. And so whether you are the person that is trying to protect your own funds or you're helping other people set up computers, it's a good idea to have the passkey system, because what it does, it takes the key part of the locking key outside of the user's control. That person who's vulnerable to that attack can try to give them the information they want, but the thing is they don't have it, because the passkeys many times it's about something that the user has. It's not about something that they know. And so I'm going to start getting on this passkey bandwagon and keep providing you tech tips. See anything else? Right now, I got to be honest, if you should start doing this or not. You're already frustrated by having to enter in too many two-factor authentication codes. I should know. I'm kind of paranoid. I shouldn't be this paranoid, but whenever you get to the screen that says, is this your personal computer or a shared computer? I always click shared computer, and that's why I get the two-factor authentication system constantly. Now, that's gratuitous a little bit. If you're at a place that the device is going to be secure, and you don't have a teenager that's going to try to break into your computer, you might as well just go ahead and say that, because it's going to be stored in your cookies to not have to use that two-factor authentication. And the person who is in a different country, or even using a VPN to say that they're in the same country as you, in a nearby town, they're not going to be able to get into your account without the two-factor authentication. And most of the time they'll be sending that to you and then trying to call you and socially engineer it out of you, not because they have your password, but because they are resetting your password to something that they would choose. And so that's a vulnerability too. It's a vulnerability because a lot of places are not all using passkeys yet. Some service providers out there, I can't give you examples. I don't know which ones. They if it's not healthcare or whatever, they're not really entitled to say which ones are like this, but there's some corporations, service providers, things that you would have accounts and logins for that don't even encrypt your passwords. And so that's the scary part when it comes to data breaches of these companies. So the data can be resources, the different results that the attackers have gotten before, just publicly available in news and stuff. And a lot of times passwords are not reported amongst the sensitive credentials or phone numbers or email addresses that have been breached. But sometimes they are, and sometimes they're not encrypted, and so that means that an attacker now has the password that you've reused for all these different sites. And so you should start looking into passkeys. You should start getting used to it. What I'm going to end this is that once you do, you're going to be frustrated, because where they're so rare and passwords are the more common thing now, a lot of times you're still going to be asked to enter your password, and you're still going to be asked for a two-factor authentication code. But you should start getting equipped with this, and so you can make up your mind if you want to do a synchronized passkey or one that's a device-specific one. Chances are, just for the accounts that you really can't have other people getting into, your retirement funds. You can't have people transferring your retirement funds somewhere you don't want them to go. You should probably use a device-specific passkey for that. And so let's all start getting equipped for that, and I hope you have an awesome day. Don't let this video scare the crap out of you. I'm sure you've been doing all right. Catch you later.